All right, well, first thing, a cigarette progress report. Yeah, I did my 11 cigarette things for the day, so, yeah, we'll cut it down to 10 for tomorrow, so 10 cigarettes into the jar. Yeah, this is probably a slow death way to do it, but I really do have to get used to this idea of dealing with the urge, the compulsion to smoke, and so it's sort of good practice to acclimate to that feeling and being able to, sometimes I succeed and sometimes I fail, and so it is like I said, it does make for a miserable day, but I know I'm not ready to cold turkey, and so I think it's a better idea to just get myself used to it before I actually have to go through the real pain, just to know, just to have the confidence that I can do it. So far so good. Might be a stupid plan, might not be the way to go, but it's so far things are going, they're going better than I almost thought they would, just because I was really having a hard time getting down to this half pack thing, and so I feel good about that even. And it's not a place I want to stay, just because it's uncomfortable to smoke less than you want to smoke, and so that discomfort might give me more incentive, because I know I never want to go back to smoking, and I can't just smoke a little, so I know what the only option is, and I have to just get really comfortable with the idea of not being a cigarette smoker, and hopefully I'm getting there. Okay, this response video to Sacramento Saint, and it's like I like this guy. There's no getting around it. And I think we agree basically. It's on the subject of the education and government unions, and yeah, it's just a real flawed system. I'm all for. I love unions in the sense that I love the idea of fighting for fairness, and so that part is just infinitely appealing to me. The part I don't like is what they become, what happens. It's like that power corrupting thing, and power corrupts these unions. And instead of protecting fairness, they protect bullshit, and they destroy the efficiency of government, which in turn destroys people's confidence in government, which in turn, makes crap like anarchy and the rest of this stuff seem appealing. And that's destructive. That's what gets George Bush elected. That's what gets us into war. That's what destroys this country, is the fact that the abuses in defense of fairness, the stupid stories people end up hearing, the welfare bitch, driving the Cadillac and using food stamps. I mean, that kind of stuff is what gives government a bad name. It's the kind of stuff that should not be possible, shouldn't exist, and there's no reason for it to exist. And the reason why it exists because there is this corruption, this brokenness in the system. And so first, let's do the education thing first. And yeah, I hate crapping on teachers. I mean, I really do. But yeah, there's this whole idea of getting paid more just because you're had the job longer is stupid. There's only two things: work. I mean, I love the idea of paying people for work. Garbage man, I don't care what you're doing. If you're working, you should be getting paid. Okay, paid a living wage if you're working. And then if you have skill should add to that pay scale. But the problem with teaching is teachers don't become better teachers with age. They really don't. If you really look at teachers, the best teachers are the young, passionate ones, the ones that really give a damn. The older they get stale, they get lethargic, they become obtuse even. They just become completely, they lose all interest. They don't become better teachers. Very rarely, let me put it that way. And there's always exceptions to every rule. And the idea of these automatic pay raises, you've been there 30 years, whatever, they're getting $100,000 a year. It's crap. It's bullshit. It happens nowhere in private industry. You get paid that kind of money. If you're lucky in private industry, you'll get a little bit of a bonus, a 30% bonus. if you've been on the job for 10 years. But if it's the same stupid job, yeah, why should a company pay you twice as much as they're going to pay somebody else? I remember once, when I was a kid working in the restaurant business, and we all had the same job. We were all bus boys, and I was the best of the bunch. I was sort of running the show, and so I went to the boss because we were really getting underpaid. And I went to the boss and I argued for a pay raise for all of us. And it was really irritating because he would give me a raise, but he wouldn't give all of us a raise. Everybody individually had to negotiate for a raise. And so I was stuck in this position of, almost saying, well, yeah, okay, and all right, so he's willing to lose me. He's willing to have me quit, rather than pay these guys fair. And like I said, even though I was better, it didn't matter. The base guy should have gotten a pay raise because the job deserved it. Even the worst busboy needed or deserved the pay raise. And it was just the idea that you had to make this stupid argument. So there was the other extreme, the exploitinist, the bastard who won't pay a fair wage. And then you have on the other side this government that's paying people for nothing. Showing up for work is not reason for a raise. It just isn't. It's part of the job description. How long does it take to learn the skill of delivering mail? 4 weeks? I mean, what? How much is there to it? You have to learn how to fill out a form, do some scanning. It's nothing. Come on. And so if a guy's been doing the job for 10 years, he should get 3 times the amount of money. Why? Of course. Why wouldn't any government run business be a failure at that rate? If it's going to pay somebody 3 times the rate that the job actually is worth, because you can replace that person at 1/3 the price. You could hire 3 people for the price you're paying one guy to do the same fucking job. So it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't work. That can't be allowed. And the whole idea of tenure, there's actually government employees in this town that have tenure. They're not teachers, they have tenure. The tax assessor has tenure. It's bullshit. $100,000 job, a year job, and they get tenure. What the hell is this shit? It's a fucking job. It's not. We don't owe them anything. If we can get somebody cheaper, we should get somebody cheaper. It's bullshit. So yeah, I mean, I'm not saying government should be run like a business, because there should be a solid, secure foundation. That's sort of the way government employment used to be. Is that, yeah, they got a good starting wage, and that was the big difference, because there was a secure minimum. But the unions over time have sort of destroyed the starting wage so they can give these perks at the higher end.
And it definitely happens in the teachers union. The starting salaries suck, but you put in a little bit of time and this whole pension crap kicks in and all the other bullshit, and that's when the gravy train starts rolling, and it's bullshit. Especially, like I said, in industries where you're not advancing, you're just doing the same job. There's just no reason, unless you're acquiring some new skill, unless your experience at the job is making you a tremendously more productive employee, there's no reason for a pay raise. And not a substantial one anyway. Like I said, there should be no 30% reward just for showing up for work. That is just bullshit. And so, I mean, that's the problem. Like I said, the unions aren't fighting for fairness, and so I would break them. I would force them to go, I would renegotiate. Okay, it's that simple. I'm not opposed to unions existing. It's time to say fuck you to them. That they have way too much control over who we have to employ and how we have to employ them. Fuck that. Like I said, they got these school administrators. Like I said, if you looked it up over the nation, it's just preposterous amounts of money for nothing. They have staff, they have all this bullshit, they get paid this just crazy ass money. No reason for it. We just had an administrator of the town hired at $40,000 more than the one that was canned, or the one that left. $130,000. They don't do shit. I mean, they copy forms off the internet and shit. I mean, they're nothing. Bullshit job for that kind of money. Just crazy. They are not brain surgeons. They're not even close. But it's all part of a racket, a government employee racket. And it destroys, like I said, destroys the efficiency of government, and that's why I have complete contempt for it, because it opens the door to the people who, the exploitnists, the rich, the capitalists, the rest of them. It gives government a bad name. It gives the public, gives public service a bad name. And so I have no empathy. I do, like I said, I mean, there's lots of government employees doing a good job for a fair wage. and I hate to have to slander them because of what their union has allowed to take place. But that's really the problem, is that their union has taken the power out of the employer's hands. And like I say, no business in America would put up with it. No business could compete and put up with it. And so it's got to go. It's just that's got to be something that's fixed. And like I said, if we fix the inheritance thing, we can pay people. They can make the same salary working half the number of hours. I really believe that. I mean, I believe people can win. You know, they can make. I believe people can make a good living on 30-hour work weeks instead of 40, because productivity is so increased by not giving all this money away, all this power and resource to people doing nothing.